Welcome to a 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma Winter. This game is going to be Flash versus Antilles950. Flash playing as Overcommander West in the east, and Antilles950 playing as U.S. forces in the west. Did I just say west twice? Probably. I meant east if I said west when I was talking about Flash. We're going to see fortifications, scavenge, and breakthrough doctrine from Flash. Antilles going with airborne, armor, and infantry company. Rear echelon troops are going to start making their way across the north of the map. Riflemen making their way towards what looks like the fuel. And wow, look at that incredibly early battle group headquarters from Flash. One of the nice things about getting it this early, even though it loses you map control early on because you don't have as many infantry squads to cap or fight, is you don't have to be at all worried that this position will be destroyed by harassing infantry squads that get too close and catch it under construction. So that is one of the nice things about that early, super early construction of the battle group. And of course, if you've been keeping up with Star-Crossed Kings, throwing up that early mechanized regiment headquarters can give you access to fuel transfer super early as well, and can help you get your flak half-track out that much sooner.
Squad ready for action.
Folks Grenadiers taking control of the fuel point there. A couple squads making their way towards the Overcommando West cutoff. And Riflemen are going to take control of this strategic point here. Stern Pioneers making their way towards this area. Wow, I wasn't reading my chat, but okay. And rear echelon troops take control of this strategic point right here. And they're going to get forced away by these folks Grenadiers over here on the right side. Still no real engagements, just taking control of territory for the first 3 minutes of the game. Very light on the engagements, mostly because there aren't that many Overcommando West squads on the field yet. Wow, those rear echelon troops, though. Look at that. He actually tosses a grenade. Apparently he felt sufficiently threatened by those rear echelon troops to retreat. Or to throw a grenade. That was probably the best that engagement could have possibly gone for Antilles right there. Takes out 2 Folks Grenadiers, and he prompts them to throw a grenade. Although, these Folks Grenadiers on their retreat path do wipe the squad, so maybe not. Probably still not worth it. I don't know, draining your opponent of 30 munitions when he's only got 6 coming in is very meaningful. That's several minutes worth of munitions right there in that grenade. Although Flash has triple stacked Grim Reaper tools, so he's only going to have to pay 77 munitions for that Panzerschreck, which is probably one of the only truly meaningful bullets and combinations in the game. Because you can get that first Panzerschreck out much earlier, especially when the early game munitions incomes look like this. Big flank on these riflemen here. They are suppressed by an MG-34 by the battle group headquarters. Will be forced to make a quick retreat right there. Riflemen in the building probably also going to be forced out soon, and map control is pretty firmly in Overcommando West hands right now, holding the south fuel and the north fuel temporarily here while Riflemen try and get that back under control. Not engaging very effectively, though, at this range versus Folks Grenadiers. Couple squads here going to reinforce by the battle group headquarters, and Riflemen are going to try and harass this fuel point here in the south.
We're losing a capture point. ready for action.
Someone block the flank!
Reinforcements in. Welcome to the death factory, boys. Stick with me. You might...
Riflemen taking up position inside this building. Not really doing all that much to the Volksgrenadiers here, trying to get that munitions back under control and try and get Panzerschreck production going. Going with a second MG34 here, one in the church, one heading towards the south, means that he's spending kind of a lot of manpower on those two team weapons. Not going to have that much infantry at his disposal by comparison. No retreat point unlocked though, so he hasn't spent that 300 manpower yet. And Antilles has actually gone with a 5th rifle squad. You don't normally see 5 riflemen, but I guess he felt like he had not that much map control, not that much fuel, since he wants to go captain tier to supplement his infantry company decision. Just gets that rifleman squad out rather than floating too much manpower. He's still got 300 manpower floating now, even after purchasing that captain. Since he has gone captain tier, if he starts floating even more manpower and does a little better in engagements, we might see him go with the pack howitzer to try and bombard defensive positions. His opponent has 2 MG34s and a battle group headquarters, so pack howitzer could definitely make sense, although on this map he may struggle positioning it optimally. A little. Harassment attempt down here in the south is not going all that well. Squad of riflemen will be forced to retreat.
Well, grab your shit and follow me.
MG34 getting that fuel back under control. His squad of riflemen, rather than moving to continue harassing,
Captain just took the battlefield.
simply going to take control of the victory point, try and maintain a victory point lead if possible. Flash is already 400 points behind Antilles here. Not 400 points, 100 points behind him. And Antilles is about to set up a triple cap, so Flash definitely needs to do some harassment, and he will send Stern Pioneers to get that victory point under control.
Stick with me and you might just make it. Our supply line just got cut off.
What about the guys? Maybe their families need something too. Lousy patch of dirt.
Captain has completed, making its way towards the top right. Anti-tank gun is in production.
AT gun ready.
And riflemen are moving into cover here. Only 2 of them can fire from this green cover position because of these trees. So those Volksgrenadiers will have no problem overwhelming that position. Riflemen taking control of the north fuel back. Captain is going to engage these Stern Pioneers, and he does get a lucky bazooka snipe. Thompson model is still alive and will be easily able to win that engagement. Stern Pioneers don't do particularly meaningful damage. They'll be forced to retreat. Almost wiped, in fact, by riflemen in the retreat path. Couple squads doing what they can in this particular area. Riflemen being forced away there.
Capture point is being overrun.
MG34 here in the building. Volksgrenadiers engaging riflemen.
Bust out the metal, boys! Promotion just got
They're going to be forced to retreat.
Under attack.
So far, pretty good map control and harassment by Antilles. Kind of off to a rough start, losing his rear echelon troops, but with 5 riflemen on the field, he has a lot of infantry to work with, try and turn engagements in his favor. And he, of course, has the AT gun and captain for a little bit of light protection from vehicles, but it doesn't look like Flash has any intention of purchasing vehicles anytime soon. Has not gone Mechanized Regiment headquarters, has not gone tier 4 yet, and he doesn't have all that much fuel at his disposal right now, or munitions in fact, having spent his first 90 on this Panzerschreck plus throwing a grenade.
Krauts are taking one of our points. What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits? Green is green. Krauts have cut our supply line. Frontline units are being hung out to dry.
Shot out! Get that in there!
Enemy contact!
AT gun firing on the church there. Captain is in this building firing on these Volksgrenadiers. Stern Pioneers moving up to engage the captain there.
Take immediate action.
Riflemen have been equipped with LMGs. 2 separate squads have LMGs now. With this blizzard coming in, they may have to get into somewhat close range if they can't get vision. They do have vision on that. Volksgrenadier squad, though, will easily be able to force that retreat. Retreat was a little late, but the squad should be able to get away just fine. Volksgrenadiers taking control of the fuel here in the north. Sturm Pioneers moving to take control of the victory point as well. Riflemen trying to get some territory back here in the south. Antilles has not had like amazing fuel control this game, but his victory point control has been excellent. Still has 500 points and is only just now about to have the clock start ticking against him. Has a lot of squads tied up here in his base, trying to outfit them with upgrades. And we're actually going to see a pack howitzer rolling onto the field now. Could prove to be a good decision if he can bleed his opponent's manpower significantly. Plus, if he can land some good hits on this position in conjunction with an AT gun, might see a big play made against that tier 4 structure. But at the same time, he needs to be mindful of the victory points. He needs to be mindful of the fuel. He has a lot of things he needs to accomplish. And he has a lot of infantry with which to try to accomplish that, but he just needs to execute very nicely. These two squads here, contending with those Sturm Pioneers, should be able to force retreat. Has to retreat that one, but should win this engagement. This squad here in the south, forced to retreat from some Volksgrenadiers, I guess. Yes, there they go. And an AT gun is making its way down here to do some capping. And if that AT gun can get set up against that tier 4 structure unscreened, it might be able to do some damage, but it's kind of overextending itself a little bit. It's going to be very vulnerable to getting decrewed or stolen in its current position. Very far away from the US base. Oh, he needs to take out this bunker down here. I didn't even see this bunker go up. Flash has thrown up a bunker here in the south. That AT gun is making its way to the south to try and get rid of it. Meanwhile, an engagement for the center is going on. Riflemen need to flush out these Volksgrenadiers. Defensive stance being thrown down on those riflemen. Grenade toss from the Volksgrenadiers prompts them to retreat. Lots of grenades. That's the third grenade that I've seen from Flash this game. 90 munitions on grenades with only 26 munitions coming in is really going to hurt his ability to make vehicles. Doesn't have very much anti-tank with his decision to go tier 4 into a Panzer II. Panzer II, also not sure if I think that's an excellent decision up against Captain and AT gun already on the field. Lots of counters to that Panzer II already on the field. He's going to have to utilize that very carefully if he wants to have a dramatic impact. And of course, being a light tank, it has the mobility it needs to survive against those counters, but a Stuart is a possibility. And it's not going to have a really big impact like it might against Lieutenant tier. I think it might have been smarter to just go straight for a Panther. Riflemen making their way across the north are going to get this fuel under control, and Captain's going to get this victory point. 3 squads being deployed to that area to try and counter. Bunker has been destroyed. Riflemen in defensive stance will suppress the MG-34. MG-34 has also suppressed them. I don't even know who wins this engagement. I don't know. It's going to be a slow one. Pack howitzer bombarding this position. He needs to spread those Volksgrenadiers out. Repositioning to safety away from that Panzer II, though. Those riflemen are in a little bit of danger. I don't know what they're doing. That's going to be a wiped squad. Just walked right into that Panzer II through red cover and the flak headquarters, which he does have vision of now, but he just lost a full squad of riflemen to get that. This squad, dangerously low health, but the AT gun will protect it from that Panzer II if it gets too aggressive, but it's actually rotating here towards the north. Volksgrenadier is going to take control of the fuel and victory points here. And a second anti-tank gun is now on the field. So lots of protection from that Panzer II, but he's really hurting for map control right now. Apparently he lost the engagement for the south. MG-34 was able to push him away despite the usage of defensive stance. Grenade's going to push him away from this cover. Panzer II is going to start pounding away at that already very damaged rifle squad. Off it goes. Pack howitzer bombarding this area. It hasn't landed any really good shots yet. It's only got 1 kill, and an infantry support gun is actually on the field to bombard some of these pack howitzers, or some of these team weapons. Anti-tank guns and pack howitzer, probably both potential targets. Anti-tank gun gets cleared by the Panzer II. Makes a pretty good flanking maneuver right there. It's inflicting a lot of serious damage, but it's exposed now to the second AT gun. Does manage to round the corner just in time. And despite being up against Captain tier and 2 AT guns, that looks is just doing excellent work this game. Up to 10 kills already, and we'll be hitting Vet 1 quite soon. And the entire map is in Flash's hands right now.
Don't slack off.
Back to full strength.
I'd like to see a naked game again, right?
Reinforcements in.
Welcome to the Death Factory, boys. Stick with me and you might just make it.
A capture point is
Anti-tank
being
gun
overrun.
gets recrewed. Pack howitzer still crewed. This anti-tank gun's crewed. Antilles hasn't taken that many losses really. One rifle squad has been wiped. Other than that, he's been able to recover this T weapon,
Gun batteries report barrage
and he's
strikes
wiped his
now
opponent's
available
Stern
in your
Pioneers,
sector.
so
Don't give up.
the manpower game honestly is pretty even. He just needs to take some territory back. He's just getting completely outplayed all over the map. Preserving his squads just fine, but not able to take any points. Oh, I think he just killed his own captain. Did he? No, his captain's still alive. Captain's still alive, but they were just about to get inside of that building. He's so lucky that they didn't finish getting inside the house. But they're now bugged and they don't have the symbol over their head. They have to get inside of a building and then leave another building to get their little head symbol back. It's kind of a funny little bug. Infantry support gun bombarding this area, and the center may be forced to reposition a little bit. We've got LMG equipped riflemen getting pinned down by an MG34 here in this area. Antilles still has not teched grenades, which against MGs you really just need grenades. You're just gonna get shut down at every turn if you don't. I don't know, he might be able to utilize defensive stance instead of grenades here, but these engagements take a million years when both sides are suppressed like this. Unless you get lucky and your opponent decides to simply retreat. We're going to see a big push here by Antilles on the tier 4 structure. Got a little too close there, but even attacking through the fog of war, he should be able to land pretty much all of his shots since there are no shot blockers along this road. Pretty vulnerable placement if he doesn't move up screening troops. But Antilles decided to disengage. I think he could have done a lot of serious damage right there, but he wants to play it safe. Doesn't want to risk losing these AT guns, since they're pretty much the only way he's going to stay in this game. If he loses those, he's pretty screwed against that Panzer II. Well, maybe not. He's got a Sherman in production now. Managed to make it to Major, get that Sherman out. An 18-minute Sherman is definitely not a good sign. You really, as US, you really want to get your first tank out earlier than that. But better than nothing. It's on its way. Flash, in the meantime, has 117 fuel. He's going to be able to get that Panther out at around 23 minutes, I think. 20, 22, 21, depending on how the fuel game goes. If Antilles doesn't do some harassment. Finally getting the south fuel point under his control. Oh no, his pack howitzer just got decrewed. I think that thing could get salvaged or destroyed by Panzerschreck fire here if Antilles doesn't push these forces away almost immediately. Panzer II moving up to screen, however. Where are the AT guns? One here in the center, both of them here in the center being rushed back to try and do something about that Panzer II in his base. Pack howitzer just got stolen. I think that might make it all the way back to the battle group headquarters, and if it does, Antilles has just suffered a huge loss. Maybe not. There is a squad of riflemen here. Should probably be able to recover that pack howitzer. Volksgrenadier squad almost getting wiped here on the retreat as well. Captain with the bazooka snipe actually manages to preserve that pack howitzer. With that, oh, and the Panzer II just got destroyed by a Sherman. Nice play by the Sherman right there. Good thing he had that squad of riflemen available on the retreat path here. If he hadn't, who knows how that engagement might have gone. Sherman moving up to provide vision. Infantry support gun has very nearly wiped the captain right there in the base. Sherman moves up, gives vision of the Speer Panzer headquarters, and with two AT guns moving up to fire with pack howitzer support, I think we're going to see this thing go down before a Panther hits the field. Panzerschreck's trying to screen that Sherman away, but they're just way too late. Look how quick that went down. Pack howitzer finishes it off. Sherman actually does get destroyed. But with the tier 4 structure dead, a second Sherman's going to hit the field way before a tank from Flash does. He may feel pressured at this point to go into Jagdpanzer, or simply try and survive till King Tiger. Captain really needs to get out of this church, though.
We just lost a unit.
What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits? Green as green can be. Well, grab your shit, man.
Bunker goes up over here to prevent harassment. MG34 here. Another bunker in the north. Lots of anti-infantry defenses have been set up there to make it as difficult as possible for Antilles. Trying to defend this point here in the south. Those riflemen will shut down that machine gun as it attempts to do some harassment. Lone harassment with a machine gun is always risky for that exact reason. These two squads setting up here with their LMGs in defensive stance, doing what they can against this Volksgrenadier push. Infantry support gun bombarding the area, decrews the pack howitzer again. Both of these players clearly waiting for tanks, putting Flash in a very good position here. 150 point lead over his opponent. Despite being triple capped earlier in the game, has completely turned that situation around. He's taking control of the entire map. Antilles is really struggling to come back as a result. AT gun moves up to clear out some bunkers up here in the north. These riflemen doing what they can to the MG in this house. Our infantry support gun fire and machine gun fire. Don't think they can win that engagement, but the pack howitzer is also bombarding this position. Ooh, getting some good shots off actually. That MG34 probably going to get blasted out just by the pack howitzer, although those riflemen are forced to retreat. And all 3 victory points are still in Flash's control. Antilles is running out of time here. Only 100 victory points remaining. He really needs to make something happen somewhere. Those riflemen could have probably slowed the clock if they had taken control of that point, but they overextended themselves and were forced to retreat. Antilles has broken through, however, in the north. Should be able to get some victory points under control up here. There's one more bunker sort of protecting the area. It'll be easy enough to get that cleared up with these 2 anti-tank guns, get these 2 victory points under control, stop that clock. So he has just fallen below 100 victory points. A couple squads reinforcing here on the ambulance. 4th rifle squad, or 6th rifle squad actually, being fielded. Went with 5 in the opening, lost 2, buys 1 replacement squad. Bunker has been destroyed right there. And Flash is just working again for the entire game, pretty much, on these 3 Volksgrenadiers, 2 MGs. And now he's sprinkling in some Raketenwerfers, plus his infantry support gun. Infantry support gun up to 7 kills, it is Vet 1. And I think it might be a pretty good choice against heavy usage of defensive stance like this. It's a shame it doesn't perform a little better, but strategically, it makes sense.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
It'd be nice to see it do a little bit more damage against this, though. This is exactly what it should counter, honestly. So far, could be doing a little bit better, but Flash certainly has been performing very well this game for map control and victory points and everything like that.
Area's ours.
Rifle squad ready for action.
Bunker going up here to try and protect this victory point. Machine gun is being upgraded on it. MG34 firing on these riflemen. They do have defensive stance activated. Should easily be able to get that point captured. And with the clock stopped at 61 victory points, Antilles will set up a triple cap against his opponent to get that clock ticking against him once again. 190 fuel in the bank for Flash. Looks like he has decided to go straight for King Tiger. Although he lost his tier 4 structure, and didn't get any units out of it besides the Panzer II, which is now dead. He's still doing pretty good on the map, holds both fuel points. Does not hold the 1 munitions point, but holds a very large amount of strategic points, and only the victory points really right now are of major concern for him, which is always a nice position to be in. Being able to focus all your efforts on just simply holding VPs, not worry too much about resources, although he is about to lose control of this fuel here. Pack howitzer bombarding the area, doesn't land any great shots yet. MG34s are really struggling against this defensive stance heavy play. Struggling to suppress riflemen. Riflemen at long range with their MGs easily decrew the weapon over and over again. So that double MG34 opening not really paying off all that much.
Units line just got immediate action.
And he's probably really wishing he had Obersoldaten right now, but he just didn't get any out before that Tier 4 structure went down. And now that a Sherman is making its way onto the field, he's going to have some pretty serious concerns. Sherman, against only 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers, could perform quite well if it manages to snipe some full squads with high explosive rounds, especially if he catches them either super bunched up or super spread out. If they're not in supporting range, Sherman can easily win an engagement against a lone squad, and if they're super clumped, then it can go in for the crush. But they are getting quite a bit of veterancy. They're getting pretty up there for veterancy, which is going to make it difficult even for a Sherman to contend with them. There goes that MG-34. Volksgrenadiers, all forces will immediately retreat.
Area's ours.
Riflemen in the retreat path will not be able to wipe a Vet 5 squad, but they are going to take control of the cutoff here. Provide a little bit of vision. These 2 squads making their way towards the south are going to try and get some territory under control here. Only 1 squad of riflemen currently defending the victory point here in the north, and it looks like it's going to fall back into Axis hands, but the points will continue to tick against Flash, while Antilles maintains full control of the north. These 2 AT guns really need to move up and apply more pressure to these trucks. Without AT gun support, he doesn't really threaten to accomplish much of anything here other than manpower bleed, and while that is valuable, Flash has 800 manpower in the bank, and he needs to have more meaningful engagements in preparation for that King Tiger. Getting some of these Oberkommando West trucks destroyed would go a long way towards turning this game back in his favor, and with only 61 points remaining, he really needs to make something happen. Sherman gets a nice shot on that Raketenwerfer. Threatens to wipe a Volksgrenadier squad, but I think it's going to get away by just a hair. Volksgrenadiers here also forced to retreat, and they should be fine. A little bit more manpower bleed though, and Antilles maintains victory point control, sending a squad of riflemen to go get that triple cap going once again.
Stick with me and you might just make it.
A couple squads here on the battle group headquarters going to get some reinforcement done. There's a potentially stealable MG-34 right there. Wouldn't be a bad decision since there's no Obersoldaten on the field. Performed pretty well against Volksgrenadiers.
Return to normal
But he
operations.
decides to simply just go for territory harassment for now. Flash sending his MG-34 and Volksgrenadiers to try and get this victory point back under control. Once that Sherman's fully repaired, it's going to be a pretty serious threat. 1 Raketenwerfer and 3 Panzerschrecks available to counter it. They need to stay within supporting range of each other without clumping too much, leaving themselves too vulnerable to getting crushed.
Crowds are sniffing around our asses. Tactical point being captured.
MG-34 setting up here in the victory point. And we're finally going to see Antilles make a big push for the battle group headquarters, I think. I'm surprised he didn't do this earlier when he had an opportunity, but with Sherman's support, he should be able to make something happen here. His opponent's working on a very, very small amount of infantry right now. Big hit from the infantry support gun prompts that squad to retreat, and Antilles looks like he's a little bit ambivalent. Doesn't want to go in yet. He probably should, though, as Sherman has moved up to provide vision. There is still 1 squad of Volksgrenadiers screening Antilles away. Needs his riflemen to move up to counter. He's got a squad of riflemen idle, 2 squads of riflemen idle here in the north. But he could also use to assist in this engagement. Those AT guns cannot make up their mind about what they want to do, apparently. And one of them gets decrewed to the screening squad of Volksgrenadiers right there, but the Sherman has... Whoa. What destroyed that? Oh, time on target artillery just got dropped on the battle group headquarters. Apparently he doesn't even need AT gun support. He just took it out with artillery and Sherman fire. Nice use of time on target artillery there to take out that truck. Perfectly viable alternative to an AT gun push. Gets his AT gun recruit here in the north, and Flash is not watching this squad. He doesn't want to lose that. That's Vet 4 Panzerschreck squad. Just lets it die. Super late retreat. That is a shame. Salvages his battle group headquarters here in the back, and the King Tiger is in production. And even after purchasing a King Tiger, he still has 700 in the bank, which means he was floating 1,400 manpower just a second ago. Way too much. He really needs to make some units. No wonder he's losing control of the entire map. Honestly, he probably could have just flooded the field with Volksgrenadiers and won at this point, with only 61 victory points remaining for Antilles and pretty light defenses in various locations. If he could manage the threat of the Sherman with his existing Panzerschrecks and Rakettenwerfers,
Capture point is being overrun.
probably could have won without even needing to field a King Tiger, but the King Tiger, of course, is going to be an extremely serious threat to that Sherman, and Antilles is now going to be the one who has to manage a scary enemy tank, and he has 2 anti-tank guns with which to do so, as well as his Sherman and a Priest. A Priest is actually pretty effective against King Tiger too. Fire short range and get 1 or 2 shots to connect.
Enemy forces are now down to
There's a Rakettenwerfer in this bunker, and it gets 2 shots off on that Sherman. Nice, nice job, Rakettenwerfer. I don't think it can attack ground from inside of a bunker, otherwise that Sherman might have died right there.
This lousy patch of dirt is ours.
A capture point is under attack. Supply line just got cut off.
Ooh, squad gets wiped as soon as that King Tiger hits the field. Full squad of riflemen goes down. Priest is bombarding this mechanized regiment headquarters. Ooh, and clears out the infantry support gun. Does a little bit of damage to the mechanized regiment headquarters. And the King Tiger is moving up to make an aggressive push towards the U.S. forces here in the north, while squads make their way across the south, try and get some territory back under control, protected by the advancing King Tiger. Armor-piercing rounds being fired at the King Tiger on both AT guns.
We're losing a capture point.
One cleared out. King Tiger's barely even suffered a scratch. Only 2 shots penetrate before the King Tiger pulls back. And it needs to be very careful not to receive engine damage. With no stern pioneers on the field, engine damage would be death sentence for that King Tiger.
Rounds are taking one of our points.
There's currently a pretty decent amount of vet riflemen on the field that could threaten to damage its engine if they manage to flank around behind it, so it needs to be careful of that. This AT gun has been recrewed. King Tiger needs to be a little careful. Takes a couple lucky shots from the AT guns there, bringing it down to about half. Flash really needs to field some stern pioneers. He's got a ton of manpower in the bank for repairs, but he hasn't fielded any yet. Riflemen making their way around this flank somehow managed to convince that machine gun to retreat, even though that King Tiger blasted them. Here in the north, riflemen have managed to secure control of this territory. The Sherman here has also been fully repaired, making its way back to the front line to engage, and we're going to see a fresh battle group headquarters constructed here by Flash, but I think that Sherman might catch it constructing. But it's going to switch targets to the King Tiger, moves up to try and fire on that King Tiger's rear armor. Anti-tank guns here in the north moving to support. Looks like the Sherman wants to simply disengage though, without really a good line on that King Tiger. It's exposing itself and changes his mind. Sherman moves to fire on these Volksgrenadiers. King Tiger lands a shot on the Sherman, which is going to pull back to safety. Third anti-tank gun here from Antilles. Lots of armor-piercing rounds being fielded as well. There goes that anti-tank gun, destroyed entirely by King Tiger fire, but Antilles still holds 2 of 3 victory points in there, and they're becoming a little bit more urgent for Flash to take control of. Only 100 points remaining, but that Tiger cannot expose itself to this much anti-tank gun fire. Full squad of Volksgrenadiers wiped by a crush maneuver there from the Sherman, and it will get to safety. King Tiger, luckily, does not suffer that much damage from anti-tank gunfire, but there's a rifleman squad on its flank. What is it doing? Rifle squad on the flank goes for the engine damage. This could be a huge problem. Does not penetrate. Fortunately. He should have fired that so much earlier.
Goose Steppers down to 100 points.
King Tiger has no choice but to pull back for repairs. Surprisingly few anti-tank gun shots penetrated there. I guess he didn't have armor-piercing rounds on from the majority of that. This priest, however, is a serious threat to a repairing King Tiger. If it gets a lucky shot and wipes the stern pioneers that might be used to repair it, that can be devastating. For now, he's simply going to use the mechanized regiment headquarters. Hasn't even fielded any Sturms. His manpower float is pretty much gone, though, having purchased himself a fresh Raketenwerfer, fresh Volksgrenadiers, a fresh MG34. Priest is bombarding somewhere. Here on the cutoff. Full squad of riflemen just got wiped here on the VP, which is getting taken back. The victory points are about to be dead even, 61 to 61 soon. Priest bombarding the center. Doesn't look like it really hit anything. I don't think it hit anything at all. Still only 4 kills. Rifleman set up here on the right side. Will win this engagement. MG34 wanted to do some lone harassment, but using MGs as lone harassing units just doesn't work all that well. If there's anything defending, it doesn't work at all, really. Because that's not what they're for.
They just fell to 50 points.
We're taking lead over here! Adjusting your position!
King Tiger moves to engage. Armor-piercing rounds both penetrate. 4 penetrations in a row. King Tiger's taking huge damage here. Oh, it's done. That thing is done. 6 penetrations in a row from those armor-piercing rounds at point-blank range, and that King Tiger goes down without a second thought to those American AT guns. Pretty awful engagement for the Oberkommando West right there. And that's it. Playback is over. I assume, I'm pretty sure Antilles won. Without that King Tiger available to him, there was really no chance. And King Tigers are strong, but even they cannot take multiple AT guns firing at them for any significant amount of time, especially with armor-piercing rounds equipped. So, not very good usage of that King Tiger there, and we saw so much manpower float from Flash. He had such an excellent early game, and it's a shame that he let it go right down the drain. I feel like his decision to go straight for King Tiger wasn't even necessary to win this. His opponent had only 61 VPs remaining. Had the game in the bag and just let it slip through his fingers. GG. Allies win.